Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer beta is effectively concluded at this point, and we've all now had the experience to jump on, play the game, see what it feels like, test things out. Basically, we had to make our first initial impressions on the game by playing it, but these are also our final impressions on the game before launch. You know, it's only about a month now until the game is fully released. October 28th is that initial launch date, so not much turnaround time. And with that, today I wanted to go over my final thoughts and my biggest concerns with MW2. Of course, we've already gone through my general thoughts and opinions on the game, the pros, the cons, the neutral things. Same deal with Warzone 2, but this video specifically is just focused on my constructive feedback and, like I said, my biggest concerns that I have with this game after playing it a ton over the past few weekends. So initially, a major concern that I have, and this is honestly something that I have with every COD every year, but based on the beta experience, it's, I think, a little bit heightened this year. I'm concerned about Infinity Ward's communication and their perception to feedback. You know, based off of the communication that we got within the beta weekends, it was kind of hit or miss. Now, certain things they did actually listen directly to feedback on and change things because of it, with the perk system, also with, you know, the visibility when firing because of the muzzle flash and the smoke and everything. They toned things down to, you know, lean in more towards what the community was asking for. Other things, though, they completely said, nah, we're good with, right? Like, for instance, the red dot minimap, their initial response to that, not really a huge fan, basically saying, we heard your feedback, we appreciate you guys giving us feedback, but we like our idea more, we're good, but please keep giving us feedback. Like, it just seemed really weird. It came off kind of I don't know, just odd in my opinion. And I mean, even dating back to MW 2019, Infinity Ward's communication system has not always been phenomenal. You might remember that during the early days of MW 2019 and even Warzone, the patch notes were constantly missing major things. They were stealth changing things, buffing weapons, nerfing weapons, pretty extreme amounts, and not mentioning anything in the patch notes. That took a long time to get sorted out. At one point, we had weekly communication updates, and then those just completely disappeared out of nowhere. Like, their track record for communication and, you know, feedback and listening to that and acting on it has always kind of been, yeah, I guess is a way to put it. So, I mean, I am concerned for the feedback in this game and how much they're going to communicate and be transparent with the community. I really hope we see something similar to what Raven's done with Warzone over the past 18 months or so. Raven has been very, you know, engaging with the community, taking feedback into account and making changes based off of that. I hope that Infinity Ward sort of follows suit, because the bar has been raised because of Raven's interaction with Warzone. Regardless of how you feel about the state of the game, they do listen and they do, you know, respond a lot with the community. So I hope to see that continue. Based off of the beta engagement and feedback, I am you know, concerned there, to say the least. Next up, I am concerned about this, but at the same time, I don't see it changing, because it was kind of the same deal with Modern Warfare 2019. The time to kill, it's just too fast, man. There's no time to react in gunfights. If you get shot in the back, there's no time to react to that. There's no time to counter that. You are insta-melted. The headshot multiplier is insane. It's just, it is, gunfights are over in an instant. There's not really much competition in gunfights. It very much so promotes constantly having your sights up, walking around slowly, holding angles. Like, it just doesn't feel like core COD gameplay. You know, we've obviously had this huge TTK ordeal in Warzone as well over the past few years, and we got it to a place where gunfights were competitive, gun skill mattered, and now it's not so much that with multiplayer here either. I mean, Vanguard obviously had a very fast TTK, as mentioned, so did MW 2019. Cold Wars was honestly really good, but now we're back to this insta-die, rinse and repeat. It just, I don't feel like it promotes super great flow. I would love to see it, you know, take a little bit longer to get a kill in this game. Do I think that'll happen? Probably not, but it is something I'm concerned about regardless. It's going to be a little bit annoying, but I'm going to live with it, you know. Also, quick reminder, if you guys are new to the channel, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. News, updates, class setups, tips, everything like that. You'll find it right here. So feel free to subscribe with those noties turned on. And if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it as well. It really does help grow the channel, shares the video around. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. Another thing, the AI in multiplayer. Yeah, just why? We don't need bots in multiplayer. Specifically, I'm talking about the invasion mode for ground war here, which admittedly I don't see myself playing much of, but it's just weird how they went about that, mainly to do with the mini map. because at first you can clearly and easily differentiate what is a real player on the minimap and what is a bot, because they have different icons. But then you get an advanced UAV and everything is the same icon. It's just the red triangle, right? So then you can't tell who's who, and you don't know who to chase and who not to chase, or who to go after, or where to position yourself. So the AI, I just feel like, is unnecessary. But like I said, that's just for the invasion mode. I don't have to play that. I probably won't be playing that because standard ground war is just a lot more fun in my opinion. But it's something that I feel like players who do play invasion might not be super thrilled with. And just AI and multiplayer, I don't feel like necessarily have a place. DMZ, absolutely. Warzone 2, maybe, but not so much in MP. Moving back into some core gameplay things across all modes, the sprint to fire and the movement speeds. These are pretty slow for what this game is. Again, I think just the overall design decisions with this game really reinforce a very passive play style, which annoys me a bit because they have made very specific points to say, hey, this game plays well regardless of what play style you are. If you want to rush around, you can do that. If you want to sit back and play defensive, you can do that. If you want to be an objective player, you can do that. But with this TTK and with the sprint to fire and the movement speeds of things, that aggressive gameplay is very much so not a forefront, because you are punished in a lot of ways for trying to move around and be fast and be agile. If you're using an SMG, you have to manage recoil, but you also have to manage mobility. And if you're trying to run around and somebody's ADS in that sight line not moving, that sprint to fire time, that that raise sights time, it's pretty slow in a lot of cases. And if you build a weapon that has great mobility and you go all for those stats, then you have to deal with a ton of visual recoil and weapon bounce, right? Like there's no perfect balance there. That's sort of a con here in a moment that we'll get to as well. But just in general, there is a lot of cons for moving in this game. Primarily, I think that has to do with the sprint to fire, the sprint out times, and the movement speeds of most weapons. So I'd love to see those adjusted a bit so that you can actually play any play style and feel like you're not being hindered in some way, shape, or form. As mentioned, when you build out your weapon in the Gunsmith, a lot of the cons are very harsh, and this is something that, again, I'm a bit worried about because it just seems like you have to go all in on one aspect of a gun. You can't really well balance it out because if you want good mobility, your recoil suffers a lot. If you want really good control, your mobility suffers a lot. You can't really have a nice balance unless you're getting a very just mediocre weapon, I'd say. Also, in some cases, it just feels like weapons are better without attachments on it. So I'm hoping to see some more tuning to the Gunsmith to make it so that when you put on attachments, you notice drastic increases in your weapon's performance that make it feel better. Obviously, there needs to be cons to using certain attachments. There should be worse recoil or worse mobility in some cases, but I don't feel like they need to be as harsh as they are now. And then, of course, one that I'm sure no one is surprised to hear, the minimap. Just give us red dots, man. They were in COD for 10 plus years. No one complained. Then you changed it in MW 2019. People complained because initially there was going to be no minimap. So we quote unquote compromised, put in a minimap with no red dots, and camping became an extreme play style, playing super passive and sort of taking away from that Call of Duty identity of run and gun. It's hectic, it's chaotic. COD has never really been a super tactical mil sim type game. It's always been the fast-paced FPS game that is standing on its own way because of that. I just feel like red dots, keep them on the minimap, because if you're really so concerned about having a red dot on the minimap, put on a silencer, put on ghost, and you're off the minimap, right? I don't feel like you should be handheld into staying off the map and then you're able to use class setups that have no consequences, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. We've been over this conversation many times, right? Classic minimap is the way to go. It's something that defines Call of Duty and makes core gameplay, right? Overall, though, I am enjoying Modern Warfare 2 Multiplayer. Outside of these things, which obviously I'm going to be able to live with any of these if they don't end up changing, I like the gunplay a lot. I do like how the Gunsmith interacts and the new progression system there. I think that's cool. Ground War, I had a ton of fun in. Maps are all right. I feel like we're going to get some better ones with full launch as well. But yeah, I am looking forward to this year of multiplayer. Obviously, we're going to be covering it a ton here on the channel alongside DMZ, Warzone 2, everything coming later on this year. But those are just the things that I'm the most concerned about with this game. I want to make those their own separate thing with this video, just in case, Infinity Ward, Call of Duty, anyone from there sees this, and, we can hopefully help make the game a little bit more welcoming towards all play styles and, helping out there with the feedback in general. Hopefully they listen to stuff. again, going back to that first point. But hey, that's going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And if you guys are new to the channel, or if you have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with the latest news, updates, class setups, tips, you name it, you are going to find it right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always stay up to date. And as always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a spicy discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products, and the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.